Now to our continuing coverage in the police shooting of Patrick Lyoya. People are gathering downtown for a fourth day in a row now, calling for justice in the 26-year-old's death.
We have team coverage tonight at 6 o'clock. Byron Tollefson and Joe LaFurgy covering the community response to the shooting.
But we want to begin with Target 8 investigator Susan Samples. She just spoke one-on-one with GRPD Chief Eric Winstrom. Susan.
In keeping with his promise of transparency, Chief Eric Winstrom just sat down with us and talked about his department's strategy heading into a weekend of protests. We've seen protests throughout the week, and there are more scheduled for tomorrow. And what people have noticed, they're talking about a lack of patrol officers downtown. People are saying we're not seeing any police officers downtown. Is that by design, and what's that about?
Well, it kind of is by design. And we do have patrol officers in the downtown area. I mean, if someone calls 911 or if there's an issue on the street, there will be a police officer there. But as far as the area right outside the police station, especially when there's protests there, what we've done is try to design a safe environment for protesters as far as traffic, where we use construction equipment, pickup trucks with big lighted arrows on the back to ensure that the protesters can walk in safety, protect them from vehicular traffic. But so there's not that one-on-one confrontation with the police officer that we have to use police officers actually at the crossings. And it's just because we know that we're really, the Grand Rapids Police Department right now is pretty much the target of their protests. So it reduces the tension. If we can do that and utilize other resources to facilitate the safety of these protests without using the police officers, I think it's a win for everybody. You don't want to end up with that face-off. Yeah, essentially you're right. You don't want to have, if we're using 10 officers to kind of try and stop the crowd because, for traffic purposes or whatever, then you have 10 police officers facing a group of protesters, and now they have somebody to yell at, and, it could escalate tensions. The used language I've heard from some of the protesters, they are triggered by just the sight of the uniform of the police officers. And we're trying to accommodate the First Amendment rights of these individuals as well as we can. And so far, it's been a successful few days of protests. We haven't made a single arrest, and there haven't been any issues as far as safety is concerned.
Regarding the foot chase policy, or actually the lack of foot chase policy, right? I mean, we know there are policies, of course, about chasing on streets, traffic pursuits, but no foot chase policy. You've said that that's dealt with in training. But is somebody looking at that right now? Is somebody reviewing those policies right now to see if maybe there should be a no foot pursuit in a misdemeanor or civil citation scenario?
We actually had a meeting today about policy. We had a meeting about policy and training and about what we can do better. I think we'll be more informed as to what it is we're lacking when we complete the entire investigation of the incident to see what happened. Because to go ahead and to make major changes without really understand what the issue was before we have that understanding is a little preemptive. But for one thing I mentioned, we switched to having 2 officers in every car right now for the time being, while we do kind of sort through and say what is it that we can do better. You said until we know what we were lacking. Do you know that something was lacking? No, not at all. You can always say there's room for improvement. I know what we had here was a tragic outcome, and if there is something that the police department can do better to ensure that that tragic outcome isn't how a scenario like this plays out, I think we need to get there. Because again, there is some discretion there on the foot chase. There's discretion. You can say, this is too dangerous. There's another guy in the car. I don't know what he's doing. I better just let this go for now. We'll get him later. There is some discretion. So we take that discretion away from officers in a traffic pursuit because we can tell right away, no matter what the circumstances are, that that is a dangerous pursuit. If a vehicle is going an excessive amount of speed or going through stop signs, we know that there's inherent risk to pedestrians, to other vehicles, whatever. When you are talking about foot pursuits, you really have to look at it from a case-by-case basis because it's possible that there's no danger in chasing this individual, depending on their size, the officer's side, the circumstances involved. It's just not possible to contemplate every foot pursuit scenario to kind of make it make sense. So that's why we cover that in training instead of policy. We don't have any way of knowing how long the criminal investigation is going to take into the officer's actions, but in terms of the internal investigation and GRPD and his employment with the city,
Can you give us a timetable for when there might be a determination of, his job, or if he'll remain with the department?
Well, I'll tell you this, to be clear, that since I'm not going to make a determination on his employment until I have the full investigation, because I simply don't know what I don't know, and the officer is entitled to due process, and until I get that information. Now, I have been talking to the Michigan State Police, not about the details of the investigation, but just to get a sense of their timetable. I talked to one of the supervisors today, and I just said, is there anything I need to know? Are we still, on track? And they said, it's underway. And it's a top priority, and it's moving forward in an expeditious manner. All the right things that I want to hear, to know that they're on top of it, and I'm sure they are. So,
did they give you a time?
They did not give a time, and I didn't ask for one.
Chief Winstrom also told me that he does plan to make an addition to the department's use of force policy. He wants to add a policy called the sanctity of human life. It basically just states GRPD's commitment, its declaration that the preservation of human life is its highest priority. He says he wants that ingrained in the department's culture. Live in downtown Grand Rapids, I'm Target 8 investigator Susan Samples. Back to you.
Additional perspective tonight from the chief. Susan, thank you for the live report.